For my global politics high-level case study and the presentation regarding security, I've chosen to take on the question, should Hezbollah be considered a terrorist organization? So how will I organize my presentation? I will begin by introducing Hezbollah. I will then move on to an analysis of the arguments for and against. I will do so by investigating their impact on various levels. I will then move on to the global political challenge and linking Hezbollah to the larger political and global challenge of international security. I will then add my conclusion and views. So who are Hezbollah? Hezbollah literally means the party of God and is a Shia Islamic militant group and political organization which operates from southern Lebanon. The term militant group refers to a group which follows a specific ideology and tries to influence governance through the means of military to satisfy their objectives. And political organizations are organizations which unite under certain ideals and objectives to try and influence governance. Hezbollah was formed primarily to offer resistance to Israeli occupation and emerged with financial backing from Iran in the early 1980s and began a struggle to drive Israeli troops out of southern Lebanon. It is composed of approximately 1,000 full-time members and a further 6,000 to 10,000 volunteers. While Hezbollah claims that the majority of its funding is received from voluntary donations, it receives substantial aid from Iran and Syria. Reports claim that Iran's funding of Hezbollah in 2010 totaled up to around 400 million US dollars. Hezbollah is headed by Hassan Nasrallah, who is the party's Secretary General. The first argument I will be analyzing states that Hezbollah should be considered a terrorist organization due to its impact on various levels. Our working definition of a terrorist organization is one which unites under political motives and uses terror and violence to achieve their goals. On a regional level, Israel has been the target of Hezbollah's alleged terrorist attacks. Hezbollah's 1985 manifesto states as one of its four main goals, Israel's final departure from Lebanon as a prelude to its final obliteration. A key event in the conflict has been the 2006 war, which began when Hezbollah kidnapped 2 Israeli troops from Israeli soil. This led to a conflict which lasted for 34 days and claimed the life of up to 1,300 Lebanese and 165 Israeli civilians and combatants. During the conflict, thousands of rockets were fired from southern Lebanon into northern Israel by Hezbollah and targeted civilian Israeli settlements and towns. According to Israel, this intentional attack on innocent civilians was a clear act of terrorism. Hezbollah's response to this accusation is that the attacks were legitimate resistance in the face of Israel's killing of civilians and targeting of Lebanese infrastructure. And according to a 2006 survey, 87% of Lebanese support Hezbollah's retaliatory attacks on northern Israel. More recently, in Syria, Hezbollah have received criticism for its support of what many view as a repressive, autocratic, and to a certain extent, a terrorist regime, Hezbollah's long-term regional ally, the Syrian al-Assad regime. Many argue that Hezbollah's intervention in Syria to suppress the rebellion is without doubt an act of terrorism. Recently, Hezbollah's involvement in Syria backfired in Beirut. 2 suicide bombers from a Sunni organization detonated bombs in front of the Iranian embassy and claimed the life of 23 people. Hezbollah's response is that they are defending the Syrian people from foreign fighters who do the bidding of Sunni regional powers such as Saudi Arabia. So who view Hezbollah as a terrorist organization? On the regional level, the GCC or the Gulf Cooperation Council has branded Hezbollah a terrorist organization. Internationally, the United States and France both view Hezbollah as a terrorist organization. Despite this, the United Kingdom and the European Union have only categorized Hezbollah's military wing as a terrorist organization. On the global level, Hezbollah is viewed as a terrorist organization by human rights organizations such as Amnesty International and the Human Rights Watch, which accuse Hezbollah of committing war crimes against Israeli civilians. The second argument claims that Hezbollah is a legitimate resistance movement. A resistance movement is an organized movement which aims to resist an occupying force. Advocates of this view would point to the positive impact Hezbollah have had on southern Lebanon. On the community level, the social services provided by Hezbollah have been wide-ranging. These include schools and hospitals. According to a CNN report, Hezbollah did everything a government should do, from collecting the garbage to running hospitals and repairing schools. On the national level, many view Hezbollah as the main actor responsible in Israel's hasty retreat from southern Lebanon. Also, it is a main deterrent factor in southern Lebanon for any further Israeli occupation. Additional evidence of Hezbollah's popularity at the national level can be witnessed through their success in the parliamentary elections. Yet some argue that Hezbollah has annexed southern Lebanon from the legitimately elected government in Beirut and formed a state within a state. This has seriously challenged the Lebanese government's sovereignty, as they no longer monopolize the use of violence in the region of southern Lebanon. Furthermore, this has left Lebanon as hostages of Hezbollah's rash provocation of Israel. So who see Hezbollah as a legitimate resistance organization? On the community, local and national level, Hezbollah are recognized as a legitimate resistance organization. A 2010 survey shows that 94% of Lebanese Shia supported Hezbollah. However, Hezbollah does not enjoy support from all sectors of Lebanese society, as polls show an unfavorable opinion is held by Sunni Muslims and Christians of Hezbollah. At the regional level, Hezbollah enjoys widespread support for its perceived role in resisting Israeli aggression. However, the Sunni governments in the region have expressed concern over Hezbollah's irresponsible actions towards Israel. At an international level, Russia's government has declined to include Hezbollah in a list of terrorist organizations. This case study of Hezbollah has highlighted the difficulties terrorism poses to international security and is a clear global political challenge. The complexity of the Hezbollah case is similar to that of the Irish Republican Army in the UK. One response to this challenge has been the war on terror, spearheaded by the United States of America. However, this has posed many legal and ethical challenges, which remains controversial. In conclusion, having analyzed the impacts and indicators of Hezbollah and their actions at various levels, and taking into consideration the various responses and counterclaims, it is clear that Hezbollah's case is an extremely complex one. It is my opinion that Hezbollah can be regarded as both a legitimate resistance movement and a terrorist organization, depending on the lens through which you are viewing the situation. At an international, regional, and arguably national level, the impact of Hezbollah's activities can be labeled as terrorist. On the other hand, Hezbollah's success and popularity at the community, local, and to some extent national level has led many to believe that Hezbollah is in fact a legitimate resistance movement. One man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. Thank you very much.